Hey everyone, Brian back again with another episode of the Driveway Marketing Podcast. I really hope you guys are enjoying these guests combined with Brian's rants and ravings about different stuff. Today's episode is brought to you by my friends at Rock Creek Coffee. Rock Creek Coffee, Joel is the amazing roaster there and a personal friend of mine who's graciously sponsoring these episodes. There's a link in the show notes if you want to try some amazing coffee in lots of different ways. So today we have with us is Danny Partida. Say hi, Danny.
Hey everyone, how are you?
And so Danny's with us in kind of unusual circumstances. Not unusual, right? So he's been in a long time family business. Um, he's lucky enough to have that opportunity to grow and be a part of that. But then also pre-COVID, he was helping people with his podcast and his coaching program and his resources. And then, hey, guess what? Life changed, you know? So guess what he did? He pivoted. I hate that word because I've heard pivot about 500,000 times. You never heard that word. You never heard that word before, and now you hear it all the time. So as that happened, right? So just tell us a story of why you got into it. Obviously, COVID changed things. That's just for everybody. We don't need to go rehash that. But then when you got back into the business, what were some of the juices that got you going to kind of keep that business taking it to the next step?
Yeah, absolutely. First of all, Brian, I want to go ahead and just express my gratitude for allowing me to be on your podcast. It's really an honor for you to have me and to do this interview with you. Absolutely. Yeah. So if a lot of people who might not know the story, I joined. It's my mom's house cleaning business back in 2001. I'm an only child. To a single parent, my mom. So I wanted to go ahead and help her out with her house cleaning business back in 2001. That's when I went to college. I created a
Wow.
website.
Good for you for
Thank you
helping
so
mom out.
much.
Good for you.
Thank you
That
so
story,
much.
we've never heard that story before. Someone helping their mom out. Good for you for doing that.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I created a website when I went off to college back in 2001. I believe, and I might be mistaken, but I believe it was one of the first house cleaning websites in the San Fernando Valley in Los Angeles. So that really helped us out a lot when we were beginning. Our business took off, not just because of the website, obviously, but because of other factors. I continued my college career, obviously helping mom's business remotely. Uh, so fast forward to 2020, COVID hit, as you mentioned. Uh, we had, what was it, about a year where nobody was doing anything. Our business definitely was hit with customers letting us go. Our work was just really down in the dumps. So I decided to pause my house cleaning podcast project, the Cleanerpreneur project, and just go 100% back into our family business because we were definitely not the only business that was struggling. And I decided to go ahead and put my 100% effort to reboot our business, as they say.
I like reboot better than pivot. That's a better word because I think I heard the word. Whoever Googled pivot.com made a lot of money during COVID. So every business
Well,
pivot.
I played basketball back when I was in high school. That's the only time that I heard pivot, pivot when you're playing basketball. But then they started using it for entrepreneurship and business and all of that. And you're right. I mean, it's just the only connection that I have to the word is when I was playing basketball.
Yeah. And the reality of it is just business change, right? There was this massive external factor that we couldn't control. And we couldn't, so that happens. And by the way, every business deals with external forces they can't control on some level, right? A competitor comes down the street, someone beats you on price, like so that, in our business and my business, we exploded during COVID because no one had an idea about how to have a meaningful conversation. I'm just going, it's not that hard, right? And so living in the
Right.
B2B, I was helping people doing other stuff and just basically helping people in the business. And my business evolved because of COVID, right? And with all the different challenges, businesses change over time, and that's normal, right? I think that's actually an evolution, not some external factor, because I guarantee you that every business has there's some piece of legislation that comes in. There's a licensing issue for cleaning companies, or there's a background check or a draw. So like, if you have a crew that, think about it, even that, if someone if a cleaning truck gets in an accident, how do you deal with it,
Right.
right?
Exactly.
As entrepreneurs, we need to be flexible, right? So,
Absolutely.
so as you got into it, obviously it's way more fun to talk about helping people. Coaching's fantastic, right? But you have to have the mindset of being coached. So if you're not coaching somebody, like, and even Danny's not doing it right now. Create a peer group, find some other people that are in the same or similar industries or the same business size that you are that have like-mindedness. It's way more fun. Like talk with
Mm.
other people. But all right, so you're back in the saddle again. So what made you what got your juices going and what were some things you were able to do to help to take the business from where it was before? Obviously it's down whatever percent and then to get it back to where it is even today, right? Because hopefully you're still on a growth path, but
We're still definitely on a growth path. And to be precise, we lost about 30% of our customers. So for a small business, that's definitely a lot. That's definitely a hit on our business. And so again, I decided to go ahead and like you're saying, just get into the mindset of what are we going to do to regain customers. Well, thankfully, we've always had our story about how our business started, and I believe that's very important for any business to have a story. What's your story? How'd you get into business? Where are you currently, and where are you headed? So when COVID hit, we started running campaigns on our Facebook page, Instagram, on our website about what we were doing to go ahead and assure our customers what that our services were going to help them, just stay on the cleaner side of COVID, right? I mean, because if you recall back then, it was all you have to disinfect everything, you have to make sure that everything's clean and disinfected. So that's where we took our opportunity to try to regain more customers. Um, Again, it's and then we hit another roadblock. So customers started inquiring about our services. We started getting a lot of leads, but then what happened was that we were short staffed. We didn't
oh,
have, and
so now you grew, right? You did the right thing because that's a great like say, hey, we got to clean more. So just you're cleaning differently. You're cleaning different stuff using different techniques. So now you got to find people. Oh God, hey, I can't wait to hear this.
I don't know if you remember, but post COVID, when when everything was opened up, when the government gave us the green light to go ahead and just go back to normal. I don't know if you recall, and I don't know if it happened to you or your business or your industry or your part of country, but people just didn't want to work. It was extremely difficult for us to hire people who wanted to work. People would come and try out the work and just decided not to come back after a week. So it was extremely difficult for us. And I mean, we had a waiting list of customers for about 2 weeks on, 2 weeks out. So it was, that's where we hit a major roadblock. And that's actually a point where we decided to subcontract. So what we found out that people didn't want to for another small business. People wanted to start doing their own thing, their own jobs, so their own business. So what we did was we started again running campaigns where we would go ahead and we started subcontracting a lot of our a lot of our a lot of the jobs that started coming our way, and that's where I'm going to use the word that's where we pivoted and
Pivot episode. Dun, dun, dun. All
and
right, so
that's
all right, it's interesting. So all right, so I'm assuming there's a blend of employees and subs, right? So what are some of the good points of hire subbing out stuff, right? So there's definitely some good points that I'm curious to hear from your perspective. So what were some good things that happened when you started, attracting subcontractors to come?
good thing was we started reducing the list of our customers that were on the waiting list. Like I said, we just had an abundance of customers inquiring about our services and hiring us, but we didn't have the staff to send them out to those jobs. So once we started working with subs, we could go ahead and send the subs out to the customers that were on the waiting list. So I mean, we eventually got to all of the customers that we had on the wait.
Got it. And then so all right, so good part. So you got a flexible workforce, right?
Correct.
So I have to ask, so how do you maintain quality? So how do you, so obviously you guys have a story, right? So how do you maintain the appearance of they hired your company and you send a subcontractor in? So how do you tell that story and have your subs like that's gotta be a challenge, right? Is how do you have your subs align their story with yours?
That's definitely you're 100% correct. And it's definitely something that worried us in the beginning because we weren't sending our staff who were trained by us, who went with our philosophy, our mission, our goals as a company. So I think that the most important thing working with subs, if you have a small business, is just being very specific about what you expect, about what our customers expect us as a service. We have our mission statement on our website. When we communicate with customers, we tell them what they can expect after each cleaning. Our guarantees as well, because we have a 100% satisfaction guarantee with our customers, and we tell our subs, if the customer is not satisfied with the first clean, with the cleaning that you do, we always offer a 100% satisfaction guarantee. So that might mean that if the customer is not satisfied, you're going to have to go back and redo whatever the customer isn't satisfied with. And it's very important that we clear that's the main point. I mean, we told our subs, if the customer isn't satisfied, you're going to have to go back. We laid out the specifics to the point. I mean, we told them specifically what it was that we did as a company, and we expected them to do the same thing.
And I would think, yeah, and I would think that obviously some are going to get it, some are not going to get it, right? Because that's just the nature of humans too, right? So I would assume you had the same problem with employees. And I would think too that, at least in my conversation with lots of people all over the country, even all over the world, I talk to people all over the world all the time, is acquiring clients is hard. So for them, right, think about it. So if you could bring them 10 clients a week, let's just say that is, that's 10 they don't have to go find. So, I mean, so that's the plus side of it is like everyone, everyone has their talent. And so if your talent is acquiring clients that are looking for this types of services, they may not have that same ability. And so what an interesting attraction point. Hey, listen, you don't need to go find a job to find the people. And so they may have their own little ecosystem that they have, I don't know, 5, 8, 10 people in their world that are looking to be a part of something they're building with the hope they're going to build it to themselves. And then I have one question though. So this is me, like, so I'm assuming they signed some kind of agreement where they don't go steal your customers, right? So I'm thinking, people,
Yes.
why would they do that? So I would call that so non-competes are no longer enforceable, right? Because that's like something that came out. I don't know. That's going to go through the courts recently. But a non-solicitation, which means you can't solicit my clients and you can't solicit my things, are really important. How did you guys cross that? So when you cross that bridge, do you have to hire an attorney, or is it more like a plain language, back of the napkin arrangement? Like how do you deal with that? Because I got to imagine I'm hiring a sub. That's going to scare the pants off going on. They're going to walk into my client. They're going to say, don't hire them, hire me directly.
Especially in the beginning, that was definitely something that scared us. And no attorneys were involved. However, I did draft a simple, letter, about a piece of a document, it kind of like a not compete, but again, it might be enforced, it might not. But something that I did clear out with our subs was, we just ask you that you don't steal our customers, that if one of our current customers that we send out to you refers another customer, that you tell us about it, because you wouldn't have found out about that second customer had it not been because of us. So one thing that we did point out was, if we find out that you stole one of our customers, we're going to go ahead and just call that customer and tell them, you know what, our insurance is no longer valid with this sub, with this person who's cleaning your house. So, that's going to scare off the customer, and that might affect your business. So, we were very clear with our subs that we would do that in case something like that happened, of them stealing.
And he actually, so for listeners, he said very important. I want you to take away plain language contracts. Not all contracts need to be legalese. Hey, this is what our expectations. We're going to give you projects. We're going to pay you so many days after we do the work, blah, blah, blah. You're going to be responsible for any callbacks. And 2, if you steal a customer, we're going to call that customer and let them know that you're no longer associated with us, and it's up to them who they choose. So you can choose, like, again, so this is the case of getting good subs. You can try to win one little battle, or you can continue to feed. I'm going to help you plant your fields forever, right? Because again, that's when you have the client acquisition machines, or whatever you call it, whatever you're doing to drive that initial traffic. You guys have been at it for 23 years at this point. You figured it out. So, And that's really interesting. So now, have you continued to grow through subs? Is that still the model? So do you have any is it any staff, or is there partial staff, or kind of? So if I'm thinking about doing this, you know, one, great, you did it. So how do you manage them? Are they employees that manage the groups of subs, or how do you go about dealing with that?
But right now, we still have subs. Obviously, we have staff as well. The way that we're doing it is the customers that we had pre-COVID, word of mouth referrals is very important for our business.
Sure.
So word of mouth customers, word of mouth referrals, we're keeping for our staff or for our company, and then customers that come in through Google ad, Facebook ads, those we send out to our subs.
Sure.
Yeah, so that way, we're and again, the story factor is very important if it's our staff or if it's the subs. So I mean, it's still very important that we represent our company with the story that has been backing us up for plus 20 years,
Yep.
20 years plus. Um, but still, we have X number of subs, and we're obviously still wanting to add more subs, and we still have X number of staff in our team, and then we're still trying to add more staff to our team as well.
So here's a couple takeaways. I'm thinking on this. Don't be afraid to use subs. There you go. You're going to be the first guy we talked about. What an interesting model, right? So in the business I've been at, remote teams, I've been using subcontractors for 30 years. Like, so you can do it, but there's something. So the pickup that Danny said is like, it's all about the culture, and they have to deliver it your way. Now they can pick, there's IRS rules. They got to pick and choose certain ways to do it. They have to get other clients, insurance, like all other nonsense. There's some technical reasons that, but understand, if they buy into your way of doing business, hopefully you'll infect them, right? So, in fact, my wife had an assistant who left the company, and we said, "You graduated." Like, she was all afraid. We were mad at her. We're like, "You graduated." She's like, "What do you mean?" I'm like, she wanted to do home organization, and Pam's like, I'm not touching that with a 100-foot pole. And so she left, and she's got a great little home organization business. She does great. So, you think about, you have your subs, you can help them graduate, right? They can learn from you. And, the reality of it is that in any business, there are so many opportunities to help people that need your products and services. If you're good at it, you'll continue to grow, right? If you take shortcuts and try to steal a client, like, so you got a sub, they're going to take one or two home cleaning jobs. Like, what they're going to lose 10 other jobs a week for one extra, for $100. Like, really? Like, come to me. And then one of the things we do is we also like to celebrate. Now my team's remote all over the world, so we get together with everybody. We have coffee with Brian. We have a meal together. So there are things you can do, because if you treat them like they're just part of the team, they're just part of the team, right?
Exactly.
That's really, it's interesting, because in the construction part of the business, right? So that's really common to have these subs, and they have project managers, and they control the contracts and the money and that kind of stuff. But I didn't really think about the home services business, that, the world changed. Now they wanted to have, now obviously different parts of the country got more financial incentives, right? The state of
Right.
California helped people a little longer than they did in other places.
Right.
My niece made more money not working than she did working, and she had a good job.
Yeah.
So, and then things changed, right? But but I think that's, it's admirable, because when you think about it, then it allows you to focus on other areas. And customer acquisition is key. So for some businesses, it's easier than others. For some people, it's easier than others. And keeping and maintaining clients, it's so much easier to keep a client than it is to get a new one.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
So
Yeah.
it's just crazy. So,
And
and so
the other thing, and I'm sorry to interrupt you. The other thing with subs is you're absolutely right. I mean, like I said in the beginning of the interview, I'm located in Los Angeles, California. And I'm phone call just a sec. I'm I'm located in Los Angeles,
real.
California. I went to college down in UC at UC Irvine, Irvine, California. So I have a friend down there who is starting his house cleaning business. So what we're starting to do is we're running campaigns from about our business down in Irvine. So we're starting to get leads from new customers down in Irvine, which is about 70 or 80 miles away from where we are. Obviously, it's not convenient for us to send our staff down there. So we're gonna go ahead and get my friend who's down in Irvine to sub for us. And that's it. And we're gonna go ahead and expand and
So there you go. You
with
now expanded to
subs.
another location. So think about that.
Yeah,
So if you're
yeah,
good at, again, just my friend Vance, who you'll hear in one of the earlier episodes, stay in your lane. Like if you're good at customer acquisition, you're good at customer referral, stay in your lane, find the right
right.
people around you, and then make the business relationship work. I think you think about it, right? You can, so in essence, you could do this in, I'm not going to use the F word, the franchise word, but if you had an operating arrangement where you could generate leads in other parts of your region, now all of a
Right.
sudden the business looks bigger, and it's just a microcosm of people that want to learn how the business. But as people know, like it's one thing to be a great cleaner, to know the chemicals, what not to use, how to do it, whatever, the customer service aspect, but it's like the whole customer acquisition thing isn't as easy as people think. And then
Exactly.
to
Yes.
have it in a consistent flow enough where we all get excited and all your friends and family use you. And then after you go through that, like then what happens, right? So
Exactly.
yeah, and I would think too that in the cleaning business, this is funny because when we hired our cleaner, we had neighbors who wouldn't tell us who their cleaner was because they were afraid that they would leave them and come to us instead. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, I'm like, I didn't even think about, well, if I tell too many people about my cleaner, then she'll leave or he'll
Right.
leave. I'm just going, so we ended up we contracted a business because if they can't come on a certain day,
Right.
if Philippe can't come, then Marie comes or, whatever.
Right.
So, it's just everyone's different, but someone wants that person to come in. And I get it. Like they're coming into your home, they're seeing stuff there. So
Exactly. Yeah.
that's really cool. So I guess, you know what? So if they want to learn, if they want to get out, so let's give them the link. So it's, what's the website for your podcast? I know you're not doing it as active as you were, but if they want to learn more about what Danny's done, kind of to keep up with him, how do they find him?
Absolutely. So website is cleanerpreneur.com. Again, it's kind of a funny and strange word, but it's cleaner as in a cleaner preneur, the last part of entrepreneur. Cleanerpreneur.com. They can go on my website, and I still post blog posts. They can find my social media on my website as well, and anything and everything there is to know about what's going on with me, they can find on my website.
That's awesome. And then, what's your cleaning business? So that they want to get, if they're in the LA area and they want to get clean, or they're in the California area and they need help lead gen, and you want to, and you're a sub and you want to help get more leads, to be a part of
Absolutely.
part of Danny's family business, to be a part of the
Absolutely.
story.
So thanks so much. Yeah. So the business is called Juanita's House Cleaning. My mom's name is Juanita. I think I mentioned it in the beginning of the interview. Juanita's House Cleaning. Juanita'sHouseCleaning.com. Again, everything's on our website, social media.
That's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love family businesses that, they are the backbone of American business. It is, right? Anyone can come here and hang their shingle, and to be in business for over 20 years is quite a feat, right? Most businesses fail in the first 3 years. That's the
Right.
amazing feat. So congratulations to you and your family. I know Pam and I in our design business, 2 names, 2 states. I think we're in our 21st year.
Okay.
My wife, when my oldest son was young, she decided work wasn't for her. She had a really difficult business situation she was in. And so I
Okay.
was like, why don't you just hang your own shingle? And so she hung her own shingle. Then, of course, where we were in New Jersey, business started to boom because it takes a while. No business can happen in 3 months. That's why having
Right.
someone like Danny partner with you makes you go faster. We decided to move to Florida. So
Okay.
we did it all over again. So, but still, if you kind of stick with the same concepts and the same ideas and the same ideals and don't move away from what you talked about, your story, your mission, your vision, you'll be fine. So, Danny,
Thank
thank you
you.
so much for sharing your family's success. Congratulations to you. And I admire your friend in Irvine because he's going to be, now you need to go back and find your old buddies from college and saying, hey, working for the man. Have I got a deal for you? Right. Kind of stuff. So,
A
um,
side business as well. You never know.
yeah, exactly. So anyway,
Yeah.
good for you. So thanks
Thank you
everyone
so
for
much, Bryan.
listening. Yeah. So thanks everyone for listening. We'll have you guys, can't wait to have you guys on the next episode. You guys have an amazing day.